Hey everyone, this is Jared coming to you live from another haunted location here in Davis County. This is the haunted house down on the end of Galbraith Lane in Kaysville. This was notorious. This was like one of the most classic haunted houses that you could discover. I'll kind of show you what's left of it here. Not much. I mean, the house has basically been obliterated. I'm sitting down at the end of a hiking trail, basically, that is what it's become. But when I was a kid in high school in the late 90s and early 2000s, this was the place to be right here. This is where people would always come down. It was down at the end of a dead-end road, the haunted house was, and so you'd drive down the road and turn off your lights, and the house would come to life, as it were, and it was really scary, and that's what we did for fun. And I remember one night I came down here with my cousin Katie and her future husband and some friends and stuff, because she was the first one that really told me about it and stuff. And I remember the house was just so creepy, because all the stuff was left in there like as if it had been left that day. Everything was still in there, and the door was unlocked and everything. And we went in there and started fooling around in there, and it was down on the end of the dead end road, and so you could see a car coming in a mile away. And the old guy who owned it, I remember he showed up, and he was so mad. He was an old codger, and he didn't like people, on his property at all. And so he was threatening to call the police and all sorts of stuff. And so we left. And for many years after that, we would drive down to the end of the road, for a scare and stuff. But I ended up being able to get into the house in 2015. It was torn down in 2016, so that I'm glad that I did get into it. But I had kind of scoped out the house a little bit, and seen that it had had huge water damage and stuff. And so I brought ropes and stuff to be able to go in there so that the floors wouldn't cave in on me and that. But how I got in is I ended up walking. There's a bird refuge right behind it. And I ended up walking in there, and they have this bridge that was like really creepy, like an Ichabod Crane bridge that led to the house. And so I went down that, and that took me to the house. And the house had these great big barns and silo and stuff, and they were all filled with crap. I mean, they were junk that somebody who owned the house had filled it with. But I remember going in. The house had huge water damage, like there was some kind of a leak or something in there. And so I rappelled up into the second floors with the ropes and stuff. And sadly, I didn't take many pictures when I went up there, because I had my hands full, basically. But I did take some pictures documenting the house that I hope you'll enjoy. But the house was just filled with junk. I mean, you had to literally crawl over like old stoves and all sorts of stuff. And I just remember the house had this overpowering smell of kerosene, so strong. I don't know if it had been stored in there or what, but it really stunk bad, like kerosene. And they had these old barns and outbuildings and stuff out there too, and I've got a picture of some of those as well. But everything was just filled with junk. It had deteriorated so much from when I'd been in there 15 years earlier. It had really done a number on it and stuff. But I just remember when I was climbing up there on the second floor, even though knowing that nobody could get up there safely, or whatever, I just had this feeling that someone was watching me, or somebody was in the house with me. It was really, like a poltergeist type thing or something. It was really creepy and scary and that. And I went up and explored, the house in its entirety, and it was really cool. And like I said, I wish I would have taken more photos and everything to share with you. But I hope that you'll enjoy the photos that I have, and kind of get the creepy feel that the haunted house had. I mean, I bet there's a lot of people that have stories about this house too, you know, and there's not a lot of information on the house itself. It was built in the 1850s by William Galbraith, and that's where they got the Galbraith Lane, one of the first settlers here in Kaysville, and the house was added on to many times and stuff, but it had these really creepy towers, and I'm not sure whether I have a picture or not, but that's one of the best parts of the house. And it was all hidden in overgrowth. They had these huge trees that had grown all around it and stuff, and so you couldn't even see the house until you were right up on it and stuff. And I just remember taking many people out there, and they were always, you know, thought it was really cool and everything. And sadly, the house got torn down, and then, you know, who knew that the freeway would come through here and just completely obliterate it. Because for a while they did leave the barns and the outbuildings, but they tore down the house, you know, because the house had had so much activity and stuff. But what a loss, and I really wish I could still drive down there now and look at it, you know, because it was really cool. It was like your definition haunted house. And so hopefully, guys, it's getting close to Halloween. Let's get out and do some more haunts before it's too late and stuff. We're going all around, and of course having fun as always. And so anyways, guys, I hope that you'll enjoy this. I only got to go in there to photograph the house the one time, and then it was torn down shortly after. And I mean, it was beyond repair at that point, you know. I mean, the water had done such a number on it, but it was really cool and really haunted. And a lot of people I know that grew up in my generation got some scares out of that house, you know, and it was the fun thing to do at, you know, at the time. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and take care, and let's have some more fun and do some more haunts real soon. Thanks.